Hey guys, welcome to Finally Clicked, the podcast where we discuss business, leadership, and personal development. My name is Margaret Smith, and I'm the Director of Operations for Pickett Street Properties, a real estate team out of Bothell, Washington. And I'll be here every week with our owner and team leader, Jesse D. Moore. We'll be digging into concepts and ideas that have helped us both personally and professionally. And you'll also get a chance to hear from local and national experts that we know provide massive value to get to the point where it all finally clicks. Hey guys, welcome to a special episode of Finally Clicked with Mo. I'm going to call this A Moment with Mo. When Jesse's away, and he's away this week and next in Prague for a wedding and vacation, I do my best to kind of help him check out. And then I like to kind of break the rules a little bit. Let's be real, right? When the cat's away, the mice are going to play. I always try to do something kind of out of the box, and nothing, of course, that's going to, mess with the business necessarily. We always try to get more under contract when he's gone. But, I also like to keep it real and keep it fun. And I thought I'd do a special little, quick session here on Finally Clicked called A Moment with Mo. And I'm curious to see what you guys think and what you want to hear more of. And I'm thinking 5 to 10 minute little clips with suggestions maybe on how to start an admin mastermind, perhaps how to coordinate an event, little tips and systems, things like that. But for this first one, I want to address something that I get asked about often, and it has to do with my attitude and with the things that I post on social media, the inspiration, the overall positive mindset. And I've been asked about this a lot, and you guys have probably heard me talk about it in pieces, but I've never directly addressed it with just addressed this topic, either in my class or on this podcast. So I thought I'd start off this first moment with Mo and tell you a little bit about some of the things that I do to keep myself in this realm of positivity and some tips I have for you. So first and foremost, I want to say it's a way of life and it's a determination of mine. It's a choice. And I have to say that fortunately, I was raised in a home with parents that are extremely positive and realistic. I don't want you to think that I have an unrealistic perspective on life. I'm very realistic when it comes to it. I just choose to approach things, even if they're hard, in a positive manner, because I find that I have more success in making it through hard times and in being successful in projects that I want to complete if I have a positive mindset. It's also just more fun. Let's be real. I want to have fun in everyday life and with what I'm doing. And if I can do that with a positive mind, it's not fake. It's very much real. It's very much who I am. I've had people question whether or not who I am and how I talk, whether it's real. And I think it's sad that we've gotten to a place in life where people question whether or not we're really who we say we are. So I'm very much this way. And some people may say it's naive. Some people may say it's not authentic, but it's very much me. And if you know me, I'm the same way in real life as you see on social media. It's just given me an outlet and a way to express what I hope to inspire other people to do. So one of the first things I want to talk about is your environment, and not just at home, but in your office. And if you come to the Pickett Street Properties office, you'll see that our walls are painted a different color. We have lights strung up and around the top of the ceiling. We have art up. I have a very bright red chair in my office. My desk is made of this cool wood slab that I found from a guy. He made this desk for me off Craigslist. And I believe, we also have our mission statement actually painted up on the wall in the buyer's team office. So I believe in surrounding myself with colors that are warm and soothing and encouraging. And yes, that is absolutely possible. If I were in a room that were completely black or completely stark white with no color, it would actually make me feel differently. So I know some of you may not be able to totally identify with that, but if we actually go into the psychology of it, colors have a lot to do with how we feel. And so at my home, which many of you have seen pictures of, if you go to my Facebook page, you can find pictures, and actually on my Instagram too, you'll find pictures of the duplex that I renovated. This is the first time in my life where I've been able to do something like this. I'm not a designer, technically. My background is in art. That's what I got a degree in, and social work and sociology. And when I got to design my house, I was very purposeful about, number one, natural light. Number two, the colors that I had in the house. And number three, the textures. And so My house is literally my happy place. I can walk in after any kind of day that I've had and an immediate peace comes over me. It's just, it was overwhelming at first to realize the difference between being out and about in the rest of the world and then coming home and realizing, wow, it doesn't matter if anybody's there or not, if it's empty or if it's full with people. I feel so comfortable and so at peace and so happy. It's incredible. And I also have a balcony off the east side of my house that faces the mountains, the Cascades. And it's just an absolutely beautiful place to be. And I spent a little bit more money than I should have, like we've talked about before, because I knew that this was a place that I was going to call my home and kind of have as a sanctuary for quite a long time to come. So with the office and with my house, I am purposeful, and I will spend money to paint it, to decorate it, and I don't need extravagant decor. At my house, if you walk into my house right now, you'll see that since I moved in, I have not been able to purchase a new couch yet. So I still have just one couch with room for like 3 people on it. I would love like a big L-shaped couch. I have not purchased rugs. I've not purchased any new furniture since I moved in. It's not so much, I mean, that would make it like amazing, but it's very much just the basics right now because that's what I could afford. And so I'm very purposeful though with everything that I put into my space. I don't like an excess amount of things. Also, I'm very much, I wouldn't say that I'm a minimalist, but I like things to feel good. And along with feeling good, it means that they're not, it's not overly crowded. So I'm big on space. I'm big on energy flow, and it feels the same at my office as it does at home. And I know that's something that it does attract people to me. I think it's funny. I don't really totally understand it, except for that it's natural to want to feel good. And so I know that it works. I have strong belief. If it works for me, I know it works for other people. And I've heard what people have said when they've come to our office or when they come to my home. You feel kind of at peace. So that's the first thing, your environment. If you're not in an environment right now that makes you feel good, seriously consider how you could change that. And I'm telling you, it could be as small as rearranging the furniture in your room. My friends would laugh at me, but a good friend of mine, Jessica, and I were roommates for a long time in college, and we actually won an award our freshman year of college for having the most like fun, unique designed dorm room. And we literally, as part of us, it made us feel better to rearrange our room like probably once every couple months. It gives you a new, fresh perspective and just kind of helps reset the energy. So environment, take some time right now to look at what your room is doing right now and how you feel about it. And if you don't know what to do and how to rearrange it, talk to some people and, give me a call. I'm happy to discuss this with you. It's a big deal to me. Secondly, I want to talk about the people in your life. And we've spent quite a bit of time here on Finally Clicked talking about the people that we have in our life and who we keep closest to us. But I can't stress to you enough how big of a lesson this has been for me over the last 3 years. I'm very much an open book and I'm an open arms. I love people genuinely. But what I've really had to learn over the last 3 years is that if I want to be the best version of myself for my friends and family that I'm closest with, I cannot be friends with everyone. I can't be friends with everyone. It's not possible. It's impossible. And there are some people who genuinely, at least at this point in their lives, don't have as much positivity to share and aren't in a place where they feel like they can exude that kind of positivity that I need and want around me. And so in the last couple of years, I have had to cut ties with some people, and I've noticed a physical difference. I know several of you that I've talked with in my closest circle of friends know that I had a stomach pain for about 2 years that went away after I cut ties with someone. And it's just become very apparent to me that it absolutely has an impact on me. And when something is impacting me that at such a level that it's causing pain in my physical body, it impacts the rest of my life and impacts my performance at work, my performance in my personal life, my friendships, my family. And that's not fair to them or to myself. So really actually sit down and evaluate. And I know that when we go to classes and we go to different conferences or we listen to podcasts, we read books, if you do any of that, I know you get a lot of different advice from different books and people, but this is something that I would say is kind of a theme across many lines of literature and podcasts and self-help in general. The people you have around you definitely matter. And so if you have not taken the time to do that, I would suggest going through an exercise where you write down the people that you have closest to you right now, maybe the 5 top people that you spend the most time with, and take a look at that list and see if they are adding or taking away from your life. And now it doesn't mean that you have to eliminate people completely. It just means you might need to adjust a little bit. Oftentimes I would call people back and talk with friends, that I don't see all the time, but it would be a really exhausting conversation. So I may not call them as often, or when I call them, I'm very purposeful about my time and what I want to connect with them about. So I don't believe in completely cutting people off, and at the same time, I will limit the time that I spend with people because of how it makes me feel. And keep in mind too that I also express through conversations with them how I feel, so they understand. They've had the opportunity to respond to me. If I have said, "Hey, this is how you make me feel when you say this," or so and so. That's through that book, Fierce Conversations, that Jesse and I have talked about with Susan Scott. So we got environment, we got people, and lastly, I want to talk about what I take in, meaning what I allow into my mind and into my personal space. What you bring into your mind is absolutely what you will put back out. And again, you'll read this in books, you'll read this or listen to this in podcasts and such, but take action on it. Don't just listen. Be purposeful about what you're putting into your mind. And part of that has to do with the people that you hang out with, and the other part has to do with what you choose to invest your time in. So I recommend, obviously, always reading books. It's amazing how many people don't read books, actually. If you are not a reader and you prefer audio, try audio, by the way, if you're not a reader. And just pick up, if you want a book suggestion, I would start with Fierce Conversations. It really will change your life. I can promise you. Reading a book, I think they say, is like downloading 10 years of history from someone else. So you get, all these people have done this research, put it into a book. Why would you not read it? The amount of time it saves you on a learning perspective is unbelievable. So read a book, meditate. Yes, I said meditate. I used to not always be a proponent of meditation, but I started it in October of this last year, and that was 2018, and it's changed my life. And it could be meditation, it could be prayer, it can be whatever you decide to call it, but it's quiet time. And I use an app called the Insight Timer, INSIGHT timer. And I will do it for a minimum of 3 to 5 minutes a day in the morning before I leave the house, up to as much as 15 to 20 minutes. I didn't think I would like it as much as I did. It's incredibly calming. Forcing yourself to stop and sit still and focus on, I like to do the guided meditation. I find that's the only way that I can really do meditation for right now anyways. It's absolutely helped any anxiety that I have. It's made me feel more at peace and in control of my day. So I absolutely recommend it. Third thing is affirmations. No matter what you think about affirmations, you might find them, crazy, a little bit silly. They work. And they work for all sorts of different people in different ways. For me, the best tip I have for you, based on what I've practiced and what's worked for Margaret, is, great, now I'm talking in third person. I got a recommendation from a leader a couple years ago to record my affirmations on my phone and listen to them in the morning on the way to work in my own voice. And so something with that, it's when you listen to it in your own voice that your brain hears it and it begins to rewrite what you have in your head. You start to rewrite the rules that you have in your head. And so it absolutely works. And if you need some help rewiring maybe some of your natural train of thought, like if you're more a natural negative thinker, this will help you to slowly create new affirmations in your life. I also want to talk about movies and TV. Now, when I moved into my first house almost 5 years ago, I basically didn't get cable because I didn't want to pay for it. And ever since then, I really don't watch TV anymore at all. I try to keep up with the news. It's definitely not my best. I don't do the best at it. But I don't watch TV, and I really only watch movies when I want to watch a movie. And it's because more of my time is dedicated to reading and talking to people. When I get home after work, I will either go work out, read, eat dinner, or talk to a friend. And so limiting what I have going in my brain. I also, just even if I were watching TV, I can't watch a lot of negativity whether it be the news or something else, and I can't watch scary movies, and I can't watch like violent movies. And I think that absolutely has had an impact on how I perceive the world and how I choose to operate in the world. And lastly, I want to talk about music. Music is very powerful. And so I will often listen to a playlist in the morning if I need to up my attitude before I get into the office or before I go to an event. If I'm going to speak, I have a playlist called Perspective Class Playlist, and it's the one that I use. Oops, just started playing it. It's the one I use when I'm teaching, but I will often put this on my way to an event, whether it be for family or friends or work-related, whatever, and it gets me in the right mindset. If you want me to share that playlist with you, let me know. One of my favorite songs is called Brave by Sarah Bareilles, and for me, changing my mindset on how to speak up for myself and also how to speak more in general about what I have inside my head was a really big challenge for me and something I didn't do for a long, long time. I cared too much about what people thought. I didn't think that what I had in my head was any better than anybody else's, and I still don't. Like, I still believe that everybody has a perspective worth hearing, and it's important to share. It's important to have an opinion. It's important to express it, to be able to express it. And so whenever I have a moment where I feel like, oh, I don't want to take that risk, or who's really going to care about the perspective that I have in my head, I will turn that song on, and I'm ready to go and face whatever I have to face, which, for most people wouldn't be that big of a deal. But if I'm going to stand in front of a room of 100 people and talk about my thoughts, I want to be feeling confident and, really own it, because I do. I own how I think. And I think it's important to be able to start conversations around this that might be difficult for people. So those are some of my examples of what I take in. And the last thing I'll say is just to begin and then to continue. Which might sound funny to some, but the reason that I've been successful at what I'm doing now in this one of the reasons in this current role in the industry of real estate is that I have continued when other people haven't. I begin when other people won't. So if I don't know how to do something, like for instance, start this podcast, I will research it, I will begin, and then I will execute. And it's not really a choice. I don't give myself a choice. And then maybe after some people would want to stop and think, oh, this is too hard, or I've asked 12 sponsors already if they would sponsor my retreat, and I've gotten denied 12 times. I will not stop. I will continue, because I know that it's just one step closer to a yes. And that's my theory on it. And if it's something that I'm that passionate about, that I care about that much, or maybe if I'm not super passionate about it, but I just want to see if I can make something work, I will try and continue until I do make it work. And I've realized that specifically is the difference between me and a lot of other people, is that I don't give up. And so I encourage you guys to let me know from this little moment with Mo what you're thinking about starting. And if you need accountability around it, let us know here on the Finally Clicked podcast community. Hashtag Finally Clicked, tag me or myself, or I. Tag Margaret on Instagram. I am _Margaret_Smith. And Jesse D. Moore's on Instagram as well. And Finally Clicked will be on there soon. Not quite yet, but soon. Tag us and let us know what you're doing. And I will totally keep tabs on it. I love progress, and I love when people take action. So just be prepared, because if you tag me and you want accountability, you will get it, and I will follow up on you. So you have to take action. There is no excuse. No excuse. All right. So I hope you guys, I hope that you guys enjoy this moment with Mo, and let me know what other moments you want to have with Mo before Jesse returns. I have an opportunity for another episode next week, and I kind of have an idea of what I want to do. But as far as the moments with Mo go, I want to know what else you guys want to hear about. So thank you for following us here on Finally Clicked, and please do me the pleasure of leaving us a review and tagging me. You guys will make my day when you do that. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.